Batman! Welcome to another unboxing, card unboxing. We're featuring Skybox Batman cards. So these are from, I believe, 95. 95 Skybox Batman cards. Don't know too much about the DC comic book series of Batman. More of a Batman movie guy. These aren't necessarily following the movies, but Batman started as a cartoon, and then or maybe a comic book, probably a comic book. But in the 50s, there was a old cartoon, and then there was the movies, of course, and then were cartoons on when I was a kid as well. So there's different series of Batmans, and no idea what to expect. Just saw these and thought the graphics were kind of cool looking, and looked up that there seemed to be some value in these, and so I thought I'd take a chance, have some fun doing something totally way different. Not a huge comic book guy, but I do like Batman. I do like the story of Batman. I do like the movies of Batman, so I thought it could be fun to check out these cards. These are super glossy. It's my first initial reaction to them. Here's the Joker. Not sure who that guy is. I don't even know here's the Penguin. I don't even know all the bad guys from all the different storylines. I mean, I've seen the movie, so it's Bane, it's, obviously Joker and Penguin are the main bad guys. And then, of course, you have Batman, Robin, and then Catwoman. She's kind of like good and bad. But it's interesting because before the movies came out, Batman was kind of silly. Like, the TV show was really silly. It was, oh, I put that one the wrong way. It was like bam, pow, and if you watch early TV and early movies, the sound was different. They didn't necessarily have the sound dubbed. You didn't see the person talking, so it was kind of like voiceover. And then it would kind of be like a comic book where you would have like the words in a little bubble. They would write them out like for the dialogue, and it was just kind of like watching a music video. They had the cool Batmobile. I think it was like a Lincoln. I'm not really sure. Just opened up some car cards, so you have to check those out. So definitely getting into some different things. Usually like to keep to the sports with cards, but I don't know. Just something I found compelling about these, and I thought it would be fun to have a couple Batman cards in the collection. Definitely don't need all of them, so always check out the eBay. I always put up cards pretty cheap on the eBay, and I put them up in lots. I'll go through these and see which ones are more valuable, but definitely unload these. So if you don't want to have to spend, this wasn't a cheap box either. This was like, I think I spent like $70 on this box. I usually go to the cheap boxes. It's pretty hard to flip cards these days by buying boxes, especially the older ones, and making your money back. They're priced kind of high, even if you buy a box for like $20 or $30 with shipping and selling them on eBay and things like that. It's going to be hard to unload those cards to make your $30 back. That's what I've learned. So buying them from people like me that are trying to do that is probably the better way to go, and then that way you can just buy the cards you want and get the more desirable cards for around $1, a couple dollars, and then hopefully they're worth a couple bucks, or if you want to keep them. But I like the chase, and I like buying boxes of cards. I've always liked doing it this way. So here's Batman. Here's another Batman and Joker. I'm not really sure. I remember seeing the picture of the one that's more desirable, and it's definitely one with Batman in it. To be honest, the graphics aren't as cool as I thought they were going to be. From the pictures online, I really like the graphics, but up close, they're very glossy. Maybe that's a good thing. You know, they are very cartoony, which I guess it's, you know, here's a Robin. That's kind of a cool card. But yeah, I don't know. We shall see. Yeah, but it's interesting. So when people think of Batman, you know, they like Christian Bale Batman, or they like Michael Keaton Batman. I remember, you know, people didn't like George Clooney's Batman. They didn't think that that Ben Affleck's Batman was going to be any good. I think Ben Affleck, it turned out to be an okay Batman. That's kind of funny and fun to do. Like, you know, these actors are terrific and they can play anybody and everybody, but are we going to accept them as playing Batman? That's like kind of the one character where the fans kind of push back and they're like, no, you can't play Batman. Like, we're just not going to accept you as Batman. It was like Edward Norton was the Hulk. You know, Edward Norton has, you know, he's kind of a nerdy guy, he's a skinny guy. And they went, you know, Lou Ferrigno was the Hulk in the TV shows. He was a bodybuilder. In the time of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger's main rival in the bodybuilding competitions. But anyways, when they came out with a new Hulk series, before the Mark Ruffalo one, they used this guy named Edward Norton, who, you know, was a great actor. But I don't know. I didn't think it went over that well. The movie was good, as long as the movie's good. But it wasn't like, you know, Christian Bale and Batman. They were really happy the way he portrayed Batman. But then Ben Affleck comes out and says he's going to be Batman, and people are like, "There's no way that's going to work." And he seemed to be okay. You know, the movie was okay. So, but even if the movie's okay, you know, do they want a sinister Batman? I think so. I think that's what people kind of expect from Batman. They expect a dark, ominous tone, and Batman's not always that way. Batman can be very cartoony. It can be very bam, pow, wow, here to save the day, like very silly in a lot of ways. It is a cartoon, first and foremost. And people seem to forget that. Like Ninja Turtles, most people aren't that disappointed with Ninja Turtle stuff. Ninja Turtles were my favorite cartoon. I guess G.I. Joe's first, but then man, loved Ninja Turtles, and then the Ninja Turtle cartoon was just terrific. Probably gonna pick up some Ninja Turtle stuff. Ninja Turtle stuff is pretty collectible. But it's just fun how people react to the Batman series, because they seem to like certain styles. And the moral of that story, I guess the takeaway is the executives, the people that make the films and make the cartoons, they should listen to the Batman fans a little more. You don't need to do Batman every year. You don't need to do comic books every year. They seem to, and then, it doesn't work all the time. And then if they don't do it for a couple of years, then it's like, oh wow, that was really good. So I think that's the lesson they need to learn, that we don't need it every year. And if you do it every year, every other year, it's probably going to be a miss. See, a lot of packs, a lot of cards in these, so that's cool. Seeing some different cards here. Probably should have researched these a little bit and studied up on which ones are what and which ones are rare, but I was more just interested in the graphics. Robert Pattinson was the last Batman. That movie was okay. I just find that whole thing so interesting that it's like the one, we don't criticize actors a lot. At least I don't, and I don't see a lot of people criticizing actors. I like movies, and I like the superhero movies. I just think they do them too often. I just think they do too many of them, and then, how are they going to meet your expectations? Iron Man was a great superhero series, and then where could they go from there? So then they went to, the Avengers series and kind of all the superheroes working together, and those are good. And then, but then where are you going to go from there? You kind of gotta go back to the drawing board and go back to the original story and kind of tell the story before they were superheroes. And those ones can be a little less action, a little less exciting. But also, good stories. They can turn out to be a really good movie. And then they usually tend to go super cartoony and, Batman 2, Batman 3, George Clooney Batman, Val Kilmer Batman. Not people's favorite. Kind of a silly Batman. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Jim Carrey as the Riddler. I remember not hating it. I was a kid when those movies came out, and I remember not being mad or anything. I remember my brothers and his friends making fun of it and being like, "Oh, you like this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a kid. I like kid stuff." I don't want the movie to be too scary. I don't want the movie to be too realistic. I know it's fake, but it's really fake. It's really silly. Some of the things in the Mr. Freeze Batman were a little ridiculous. It was a little cartoony. But that's what I watched. I watched cartoons. So I definitely didn't hate it. But I felt like everybody else did. And then they try to make you feel bad for liking it. And it's like, well, I don't know. My favorite show at that time was the Ninja Turtles cartoon. The Ninja Turtle cartoon was awesome. Last pack here. We got just a couple cards left. Remember, always like and subscribe, and we shall see you next time. I think we have some basketball cards coming up next time. So I appreciate everybody, and hope you enjoyed the Batman cards.